7th of January, we're going to have a new government. And for us in sport, there's only one bit that concerns us so much. That has to do with what then happens to our sports development from the new government. We asked you some questions on social media on who becomes, for you, the next sports minister. Very soon I'll be crossing over to Joan Saji, my colleague, who is already on queue anyway, who will run by us what you've been telling us on who will become the next sports minister for us. But I want to ask us, as in you watching me, myself in here, and of course, the incoming government, a few questions that I think they should consider before they appoint whoever they want to appoint as the new or the next sports minister. Let me show you the men and women who have served this country in the past and now as sports ministers since 2001. 24 good years. Let's begin from President J.A. Kufuor's tenure and the persons he appointed for us as a sports minister. You can see behind me also on your screens now. He began, first of all, in the year 2001. Let's begin with 2001, because that was when he had his first appointment. That was Malam Issa. So that's the first gentleman that was given appointment by President Kufuor. Malam Issa was named as the sports minister, the first one by President Kufuor. You know the story of Malam Issa, however. This gentleman, went to the Black Stars team for an assignment. Some money got missing. This gentleman was pinned down and was jailed. You remember? That was the first minister for sport under President Kufuor. This gentleman, Malam Issa, was jailed. Then, let's jump from that. We've had Papa Owusu Ankama. He came in after Malam Issa was jailed. He came in to act for some period, 2001 still. We've had someone like Honorable Osei Kweku. He was MP for Asokwa back in the days. Also became a sports minister under President Kufuor back in the days. We've had the late Kojo Ba Redu, also then was MP for the Asante Achim area. He was a minister for education. Then it was education, youth, and sports under President Kufuor. Beginning with Ba Redu, it was education, youth, and sports put together. He served. Let's go on to the next one that President Kufuor gave us. And that's when we got to hear also of Honorable Yao Osafo Mafo, also MP back then, also education, youth, and sports. We had Papa Owusu Ankama also come back again. And that was the World Cup period, 2006, Germany. He was there. Then we've had Honorable Dominic Fobi, also then was an MP as well. Education, youth, and sports. These men were the sports ministers under President Kufuor. Okay, let's now go on to President Atta Mills. Prof, the good prof. When he became the president, he also gave us these men and, of course, women to serve the Ministry of Sports. Now, we had Honorable Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, MP, you recall him as well. He came in, he was the first sports minister under President Mills. He also had some issues, also to do with national team football. You recall issues of Pampers and those stories that flew around. That was him. That was his tenure. We've had Honorable Rashid Pelpio. Rashid Pelpio was also in there for us. He also served. We've had also Honorable Akua Senator also served. 2010 FIFA World Cup. 2010 FIFA World Cup. We've also had Honorable Clement Kofi Humado, MP, also served as well under President John Evans Atta Mills. When President Mills passed away, we were in the election year, so His Excellency John Dramani Mahama acted for just a few months, and the election was held. Let's check out President Mahama's tenure and the men he gave us as ministers. There they are. Honorable Elvis Efriye Ankra, number 1. Honorable Mahama Ayarega MP also has served as the Minister for Sports. Honorable Major Dr. Mustafa Ahmed, retired, also served, also an MP. Then we also have had Honorable Edwin Ni Lante van der Poel. We know him, very famous sports ex-commentator. Also served under former president, now incoming president, John Dramani Mahama. Okay, let's now go on to the current regime. President Nana Akufo-Addo. Only 2 have served under Akufo-Addo in 8 years for sports. Only 2. Isaac Esiama, MP, and also Honorable Mustafa Usif, also currently an MP. These men and women have been the ones in the last 24 years who have served as sports ministers of this country over that period of 24 or so years. Question for you and myself to answer, though, is what has been the impact of these men and women who have led the agenda for sports for the governments over the last 21 years? What did they achieve on the sporting front? Question, were these men and women the right men and women, or women, sorry, to play the role of ministers of sports in those years? And then another question I'll ask, what criteria goes into appointing someone to become a sports minister? For instance, if you want to appoint someone for finance minister, you are told the person must be someone who knows economics or finances. It's a basic, you must know it because you should be able to apply the knowledge when you get in there, even though yes, you have other people you're going to work with. But I'm asking myself, the names that we run through from 2001 to the last man who's acting still, Honorable Mustafa Yusuf. What were the criteria? Did the gentlemen and women have any special qualification, knowledge, know-how that gave them the nod over others? What was the criteria? What was the motivation? What influenced the presidents then to nominate or appoint these men and women to become our sports ministers? As a nation, going forward, have you been impressed with the men and the women who have served in that department or that ministry and the job they have done for us? If you are, that's fine. For me, I'm not. I am not. All we have done over the period, in the last 21 years plus, has been to forget about sports development and focus on just one entity, the Black Stars. One element in football, not even sports, so one element in our football development, just the Black Stars. What has been the story of boxing under all these men and women? Boxing. You and I, you know the story of boxing in this country. Before then, Ghana was known as a beacon in Africa and the world for boxing. But in the last 21 years, under these men and women, who can you mention as someone that really we have produced as a nation? In the last 21 years, you can make mention of maybe Isaac Dogbe, Joshua Clotte, help me with the names. Joshua, Kote, just a few names. But back then, we could mention great world champions. Azuma, Nelson, Ike, Bazooka, Quarte. You could mention the name DK Poison. The names are just... But today, 20 years plus in boxing, nothing to show. Athletics, what have you shown? And I'm mentioning this one because the talent is there. Athletics, what have you gotten to show? A year ago, before the Olympics, I saw a video that was supposed to come from 66 Commonwealth Games. I saw a relay event that was held in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, in the Commonwealth Games, and I saw a Ghana relay team, men, win the finals that had Great Britain, Australia, Jamaica, and others. But Ghana won it. What is our story now in athletics? What is the development plan for athletics? Just a few months ago, you and I were here. CAF banned us. We couldn't play even football in Ghana. We have to hurriedly pump money into some departments to get some things done before we were allowed to play against Sudan in the qualifiers for the Nations Cup. The level we have sunk with our sports, for me, is that bad. And so going forward, His Excellency, Mr. President, John Dramani Mahama, you've been there before. There's a reason why some of us are hopeful that the mistakes of the past will not be repeated. I'm hopeful that you will come in and not see sports like we've seen it over the years, like it is leisure. It's just something anybody at all can go in there and perform because it's leisure. Let's just go have fun. Sports is now business. Sports is now big-time business, which is making money for nations. The amount of money that nations are generating from sports alone is so huge and massive that we cannot continue to take sports in this country as leisure and just appoint anybody at all into the ministry. The person who should be coming in there should be someone who knows what he's about and knows that sports development is big business and has his own mind to come be in charge to be able to rally all the troops, all the departments from the NSA, the various departments under the NSA, and the federations to ensure together they can project, promote, and develop the various sports we have in this country. If it's athletics, if it's golf, if it's badminton, if it is football, whatever it is, we should have someone who knows what he's about and can galvanize all of them to bring proper ideas so we can develop our sports to a level you and I one day will look back and say, yo, we have done this as a nation. Not the usual do nothing, wait for a Black Stars World Cup or AFCON, pump so much money in there, go and waste all the money at the World Cup or at an AFCON and come back home with nothing to show. Mr. President, this is my humble plea. It is not over yet. Some of us will keep coming again on things we feel should be done and done right for our development as in our sports, because that's where we also find ourselves. That's my editorial this afternoon on the game on GH1 TV. Let me now bring in my man. That is indeed Jones Aji. He is already on cue by the screen to run by us what you have been saying to us on social media on who. The question now is who becomes our next sports minister. Jones Aji, what's happening on the table? Just give us a rundown of what the listeners
Benghazi, what a preaching, what a word you just delivered. And God bless the word and made it holy. I mean, interesting comments from social media. A lot of people are speaking. Well, let's start off from Facebook and then start off from Nana Kofi Ama. Says the problem isn't the minister. 80% of the problem is from the GFA and the Ghana Sports Authority. I believe he wants to say at the NSA. One from Peter says, Massa, if you bring Angel, Michael Crab, Black Star will be the same. And then a funny one says Sharaf Mahama. Well, this one from Yusuf Bansi says the MP for Brekum West is the right choice for the sports ministry. Neil Lante is a perfect man to restore parity. This one coming in from Nana Kwesi Ofori Preko. And Mutala Swale says Johnson Asedukit. I think it should just be a funny one. Okay, a lengthy one from Teddy James says it's so sad that the sports ministry in our country is one of the various ministries that we've been dwelling so much on and has scandals for some time now. It is difficult to choose who must step in and deliver without zero sound outs. Let's go on. And one says Mahama Ayariga. Okay, Wintum says no pressure. No pressure. Okay. Let's move on. Anyone better than Mustafa Yusuf coming in from Robert Sansa. Countryman Songo. Well, I don't know what Benghazi makes of that. And Hakim Nuruddin says, Honorable Nikeyema Billy Alamzi MP elect for Chiena Paga constituency. Okay. Countryman Songo. And then Elian Bill says, Sadiq Adams. He says, this guy is having Ghana football at heart. Okay, DK, says Michael Asian or Stephen Apia Solomon wants Honorable Neil Ante van der Poel as sports minister. Same for Yao Opong. And then Wajoni GH wants Sadiq Adams as sports minister. Okay, Josephine wants not Elvis Efrie Ankara. And then the last comment on Facebook, Neil Ante van der Poel from Mark Sharon, and then James. So on Facebook, we have a lot of Neil Ante van der Poels in there. Let's get to X. And, well, we start with Neil Ante van der Poel on X as well. So, Benghazi, it cuts across that a lot of people would want experience. Yes, so Neil Ante van der Poel cutting across on Facebook. And then when we get to X as well, Sadiq Adams has been tagged here. So Kwame Oliver wants Sadiq Adams as sports minister. Well, someone says this is not important. Let's focus on all right. Okay, let's move on to Mohamed Awal. You know Mohamed Awal, a sports journalist. He also wants Neil Ante van der Poel. Honorable Adams Abdul Salam coming in from Sami. And then interestingly, Benghazi, a lot of people have tagged Sam George, Sadiq Adams, Sadiq Adams, Sadiq Adams. So a lot of comments in favor of Neil Ante van der Poel, Sadiq Adams. And, well, the final decision is with John Mahama.
And for you, John Saji, you have any name in mind?
I mean, you just talked about the fact that we've had persons who sometimes have no knowledge about football or sports. I mean, obviously, sometimes young persons come in. Don't forget that it is the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And so sometimes the youth factor comes in. But then we know that everyone will talk about the sporting factor. And so for me, I would want someone with a good knowledge. I would want a former sports person, a former player. You never know. Let's see. Let's give them the chance as well, because we've given some of these MPs a lot of chance, and they've taken us nowhere.
Thank you very much, Jones Saji.